Dan Tehan, thank you so much for joining me. The 1,000 Talents plan, how much of a threat is it?
Look, we've got to make sure that every bit of international research that we do where we're collaborating with other countries is done in our national interest, and that's why we put in place best practice guidelines that were designed by our intelligence agencies and by our universities, including dealing with research, to make sure that the collaboration we are doing is in our national interest.
Well, for a start, do you know how many Australian scientists have been signed up on this program?
Well, obviously, what we are doing is working with the universities to make sure that they have a clear understanding that there is transparency around all the contracts that are entered into by our scientists, by our researchers, and we.
Does that mean you don't actually know now? That means you don't know now how many people are signed up?
So what it means is that we have put specific requirements on our universities to understand exactly what arrangements their scientists or their researchers are entering into, who they're entering it into with, and to make sure that all that is done within Australian law. It's why we've also made sure that there is very close collaboration between our intelligence agencies and our universities to ensure that if there is malpractice taking place, if there is illegal activity taking place, then that will be acted upon.
You've been photographed, there was a photograph in the Australian Review with two academics, both of them energy experts, and energy is obviously a very sensitive area. At the working Australian universities, they've both been listed as part of the 1,000 Talents plan with their names listed on patent applications in China. So China then gets the intellectual copyright to their research. Now, yes, both men say, oh, they didn't agree to have their names on these patent applications. One said, oh, it actually wasn't part of this talents program. But whatever the truth of the matter, how did that stuff get past the universities, past the academics themselves? How does the government not know this stuff? This doesn't seem transparent at all.
Well, that was an Australian Research Centre of Excellence. The technology that's been looked into there enables us to be able to store energy, which means that we will be able to guarantee much more stability in our electricity grid. So very much.
This is very good stuff, Dan Tehan. This is very sensitive and important stuff. My point is, why does the name of one of the researchers involved in exactly this, why does his name appear on patent applications lodged in China? He says, oh, I didn't know, and, you know, it was against, I didn't do it. But how does this happen?
Well, what also is happening, Andrew, is all these cases are being investigated. Now, obviously, there are some things which are obviously operational matters which I can't go into tonight, but it is these are exactly the reasons why we have our intelligence agencies working so closely with our universities. Now, that research will also benefit our nation by providing better stability into our grid. Now, what has happened with regards to those patents, obviously if there has been illegal activity where those patents have been recognised against the will of those researchers or scientists, then that will be investigated, and obviously measures will be put in place to, as best we can, to try and prevent that occurring again. And that is why it's so important that we've got guidelines in place, that we've got a counter foreign interference coordinator who can look at all these issues and make sure we're dealing with them as a nation. And as I've said, the guidelines that we've put in place are regarded as best practice, and other governments have been asked to put in place what we've done.
They're best practice, you've got our spy agencies involved, you're on top of this, and yet you don't know how many of these scientists have been signed up. And what's more, you get the Australian newspaper and a think tank in Sydney unveiling all these deals that the universities didn't know, the academics claim they didn't know, and you didn't know, and ASIO didn't know. I mean, clearly something's not actually picking up. But, you know, the fallbacks you're talking about aren't actually working.
Well, they are, but I mean, do we always have to be doing more in this space? Do we always have to be on guard in this space? Absolutely, we do. And that's what we will continue to do. And if there are more measures that we need to put in place, we'll put them in place.
Good on you. Thank you very much for your time, Dan Tehan.